This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
And welcome to our first show of 2025 season. Yes, we're back for the playoffs. This is On Deck, brought to you by C2C Network. I'm the host, Big B, along with my co-host tonight, Big Game Greg, not James. I'm sorry, Greg. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's been a long time. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and we'll get to your Cardinals here in a second. And
All right.
up in the corner there, we got the rookie, Kevin Cherry. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Go Cubs, go.
I was going to say, I think you're the only one with the playoff team between myself and Greg and Crispy. So
yeah, I'm just glad the Cardinals are bad and we are able to sweep them.
Yeah. So we'll save your little playoff prediction here, how the Cubs did, because they are in the playoffs. But Greg, 2025 comes to a wrap today. How did your Cardinals look this year?
Well, my Cardinals finished 78-84. That was good enough for about five games out of the wild card. We had moments where we had really good pitching. It just wasn't a very consistent season. We had some guys that played really well in some spots. We just didn't have a lot of consistent play, but I think that we're improving. I mean, we've ended up getting rid of Goldschmidt and had to make some money moves and stuff. So it's a really tough pill to swallow because the Cardinals went on a big tear where they were almost in the postseason every year for 10, 15 years, and now they haven't sniffed the playoffs for a few years. And I think patience is starting to run a little bit thin, but we were 6 games under 500. But I would say that overall, I think that the team's improving. We're getting a little bit younger, so we'll just have to make some moves in the off season and see what happens.
Yeah, I can say the same about the Twins. They started off, fairly hot. They went on a 13-game winning streak, and then the injury bug caught them. The inconsistent play caught up to them, and at the trade deadline, they pretty much moved everybody but the kitchen sink. It seemed like I think they're the first team to trade like 10 players away in the same trade deadline season. So yeah, they're rebuilding. I mean, they got some good prospects that came up. Luke Cusho, Brooks Lee, tie that in with Royce Lewis and Buxton, Joe Ryan. I think we're going to be looking for some pitching, maybe a big solid first baseman over there. Heck, Cody Clemens actually did pretty good over there too, so can't forget him in the mix there. So, but we'll see what the offseason brings. So, Kevin, your Cubbies got into the playoffs. So, what are you? I mean, of course, the season looked good. So, how do you feel overall?
Well, I was a little worried at the beginning of the year when Justin Steele went out for the season. That was our ace. So that was a little worrisome. And then, what was it? Like, right after the All-Star break or right before, one of the two. Shoto Imanaga went out for about a month or two. So we lost our two best pitchers. So at that point, I was like, great. We're going to hit with the injury bug. We're going to miss the playoffs. And that's when the Cubs, they were ahead of the Brewers by like 7.5 games. They were the best team in baseball.
Yep.
And they got hit with a bunch of injury bugs. Kyle Tucker started going into about a 3-month slump. So they gave him like a 10-game rest, where he didn't play for like 10 straight games to see if, work on mechanics and stuff like that. But yeah, our relievers, they, came in clutch because we didn't have the depth at starting pitching. We just lost another big name as well going for playoffs, which hurts. We got Cade Horton that we're not going to have for the playoffs, so that's going to hurt. So we're going to have some pitching issues going into the playoffs, especially playing the 90 and 72 Padres, who I'm not too, excited to see in there because they're a little scrappy little team. They got good pitching. But if the Cubs can, hit the ball like they've been hitting the ball the last 3 games, I think we'll be fine.
Yep. Nope, I get it. It's always nice to have a team they're rooting for in the playoffs, but I know it's been a while, so I know we haven't talked about a couple passings. Greg, the voice of the Brewers passed away this season or before the season started, Mr. Euchre. What were your thoughts when you heard the news on that?
Well, I was sad. He was the voice of baseball. He's been a very well loved figure in baseball and in America in general for years. He gained some popularity with the Miller Lite commercials. He had an excellent spot as an announcer for the Cleveland Indians in the Major League franchise
Yep.
movies. He played a sports writer and a dad on the hit TV show Mr. Belvedere.
Yep.
He had a lot of self-deprecating humor. He brought a lot of life and a lot of spunk to the dugout. He won a World Series with my Cardinals back in the day. He didn't really play much, but they kept him around because he was good for team morale. So he was just a very upbeat, uplifting guy, and it's sad to see a legend like him pass. I know he lived a very long and productive life. So those are my thoughts. That he got to do what he loved every day. He had a great voice. He had a great sense of humor, and I think he affected a lot of people in a very positive way.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, you go from a baseball career to being on a hit TV show, getting into some good movies, doing day by day voice for the Brewers. I mean, yeah, that guy lived a heck of a life. I mean, definitely truly missed. Kevin, I know you're the young one of the group, so how much do you know about Bob Euchre?
Uh, slim to none. I've heard the name, and I didn't know any of this information that you guys are throwing out there, like the TV show and all that. I knew I did know that he was the voice for the Brewers. That's the one thing I did know. But other than that, I didn't know much about him. Like you said, a little too young to know much about that guy. But
Yeah.
it's never a good time to see someone pass away. So, of course, we're here to we're here to mourn his death and remember him for his accolades and his what he brought to everybody.
Yeah, now if you get a chance, YouTube some Euchre clips. I mean, the guy was a comedian in the booth. I don't think I've heard one person ever say a bad thing about Bob Euchre. So, also too, towards the end of last year, I think Mr. Ricky Henderson, the all-time base dealer, passed away. Greg, another legend, gone. What's your thoughts on Ricky?
Well, Ricky was a guy that never lacked any confidence. That's for sure. He was almost like the Deion Sanders of
Yep.
baseball. He talked a lot, but he backed it up. He holds the record for the most stolen bases in Major League Baseball history. He played with a lot of fire. He's one of the greatest leadoff hitters of all time. Played with a lot of passion. Played with a lot of heart. And it's sad to see someone like him pass away.
Yeah, no, it's definitely tough. I mean, yeah, great base dealer. And like you said, Greg, I mean, he talked the game, but he always backed it up and he always trash talked. I mean, everybody came out and said how he would always talk to him at first base on how he was going to steal the bag, or he'd call somebody at home and, say, oh, you got 50 stolen bases for the whole year? I'll have that by the All-Star break, and, stuff like that. So Kevin Witcher, Rick Henderson might still be a little bit too, old for you, but what do you know about Ricky?
Well, that's a name I do know a little bit more about. I will tell you though, I hate versing him in MLB The Show. I'll tell you that. I mean, I can't. I've tried doing pitch outs to throw him out, and I still can't do it. Um, but yeah, no, like you guys said, he's got a little bit of sass to him, and he can always back it up, and he's quick. He's a hell of a player. So, it's again sad to see someone with that kind of talent pass away.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, guys. So today was the end of the baseball season. Playoffs start. What's up?
There's another passing that you forgot about.
Who did I forget?
Ryan Sandberg from the Cubbies.
Oh, that is right. You are correct. I did forget about that one. So since you're Mr. Cub, what's your thoughts on Mr. Sandberg?
Man, I know he was battling that cancer for a long time. And then I think one day I was watching, I was tuning into some Bears news, and I got the notification, and I happened to be on the phone with my dad at the time, and I told him that, and he didn't believe me at the time, and he's like, shit, you're shitting me. And I was like, no, he just passed away. I know he was battling cancer for who knows how long. I know it was a couple years. But he's one of the all-time greats when it comes to baseball, and especially an all-time great for the Cubs for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Greg, you got to see Ryan Sandberg a lot in that Cubs jersey facing your Cardinals. So, what's your thoughts on passing Sandberg?
Well, I'll tell you, watching him play through the years, especially back when I was growing up, TBS had all
Mm-hmm.
the Braves games. So, of course, there was a lot of Cubs and Braves games on TV. And it was just fun watching him and Sean Dunston turn double plays. He had a lot of. He had a lot of heart for the game. Absolutely loved the game of baseball. Tremendous fielder, had a lot of pop for a second baseman. Right up there. Maybe not quite as much pop as Jeff Kent, but he did have a lot of pop for the position in the bat. So he was a great team leader. He ended up managing the Phillies, I believe, for a few
Oh yeah.
years. And so he had a great career in baseball, great ambassador for the game. I think he took a little bit of time off halfway through his career to deal with some issues that he had going on. But yeah, he had a lot of he had a lot of heart. He brought a lot of tenacity to the game, and he bled for the Cubbies. I mean, he gave everything that he had to that organization. So he was an outstanding fielder. Had a very high fielding percentage. He was just a great baseball player.
Yeah, definitely a guy that you would definitely want your infielder build around, especially up the middle. Like you said, him and Shot turned on plays like no other. But yeah, that passing was hard, and the image I saw a few weeks ago on Facebook or after he passed was up in the clouds. You got Harry Carey walking him with open arms to up there. So that was kind of touching. Kind of brought a little tear to my eye. So But yeah, so today everything's wrapped up. Playoffs are ready. So I don't have the playoffs. Kevin, you got the playoff matchups?
Yeah, let me pull it up here again.
Okay. So I know Seattle gets a bye. I think the Blue Jays get the bye in the American League, and I think the Brewers and Dodgers get the byes in the National League.
No, the
Uh,
Dodgers do not have a bye.
the Dodgers do not have the bye. Okay.
Um, so you got the Tigers and Guardians going up against each other.
Okay.
You got the Cubs and Padres.
Yep.
You got the classic Red Sox versus Yankees, and then you got the Reds and Dodgers.
So who? Okay. So what's the other National League team that got the bye?
So you're gonna have the Brewers that have the bye and the Phillies that have the bye.
Phillies. Okay, that's what I was missing. All right. Gotcha. All
And
right.
then the American League, you got the Blue Jays with the bye and the Mariners.
So the American League, we got two divisional rivalries going, especially the big one with the Boston Yankees. So, Greg, in the American side, who do you got winning those? And they're 2 game series, best 2 out of 3, right?
Yep, 3
Okay.
games. Yep.
All right, Greg, who do you got in the American League?
Well, I think that on paper, I like the Tigers over the Guardians in that matchup. You got Tarek Skubal, who's a Cy Young candidate, going to be taking the mound for probably the first game of that series. And I think that with Riley Green, Torkelson, Baez, some of those guys in the lineup, I think that they're going to generate just enough runs. The Tigers haven't been playing great baseball down the stretch, but they played just good enough to kind of squeak in. They had a pretty commanding lead for a while in their division, but things kind of changed. But I think that in a 2 out of 3, I think that the Tigers will overtake the Guardians, and I think that when it comes to the Red Sox and the Yankees, um, that's kind of a tough one because the Boston's a pretty scrappy team, but I think I'm going to give it to the Yankees. I think that they have just a little bit more depth in their lineup to kind of take things.
All right, Kevin, who do you got in the American League series?
You know what? And so I'm looking at here. So the Tigers are the 6th seed. Guardians are the 3. So I think with how well the Guardians have been playing, and how hot the Yankees are, I'm going to take a 2-0 sweep in both of the wild cards.
Ooh. Okay. And who are you taking in the Yankees, Boston then?
I'm also going to take the 2-0 for the Yankees.
Oh, okay. Going with the favorites. Okay. Yeah, for me, I think game one for the Tigers and Guardians are going to set the tone because, like Greg said, and I think ESPN's pointed out, and I think everybody has, the Tigers had a big lead pre All Star break, and they just collapsed right after. So I think game one's going to be huge for the Tigers to come out and try to get that first game win. But I think I don't know. I just think the Guardians are going to hold out. Probably go all 3, and same with the Boston Yankees series. I think that's going to go 3 games. I hate to say it, but I think the Yankees are going to probably pull that one out. So on the NL side, Kevin, who do you got on the NL side for both series?
Oh man. Well, I can tell you, like I said, I'm not too fond of playing the Padres in the first round. I'd much rather be playing the Reds.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to take the Dodgers to 2-0 the Reds. As much as I don't want the Dodgers to make it out of the wild card, I just don't think the Reds have enough power to go up against the Dodgers and the team that they have. Now Yeah, so I'm gonna do 2-0 for the Dodgers and Reds. Um, and this is gonna hurt me to say, but I know how hot the Cubs are right now when it comes to runs and stuff like that. I mean, they were down at one point. They were down like 12 and a half games to the Brewers, and they brought it down to 5. So, the Cubs are playing some hot baseball right now. But I'm going to have to go. It's going to be a 3-game series, and I'm going to say Chicago's going to pull that one out, and
Okay.
they're going to take the Brewers on in the next round.
Yeah, that should be a good matchup there. So, Greg, NL side of things, what are you looking at?
Uh, on the NL side of things, I have a hard time seeing the Reds getting past the Dodgers. I just think that the Dodgers line up with Otani and Freeman and Betts, uh, those guys. And then you have Glass now, Otani on the bump, and a pretty deep pitching staff. I think that the Dodgers should take the Reds. I could see maybe the Reds getting one, but I don't think they're going to take two out of three.
Yeah.
Now this one, I mean, this is a really tough one because both teams match up really well. You have decent pitching. You have teams that can generate a lot of runs. So there's games where the Padres really put a good streak together. There's games where the Cubs really put a lot of runs up on the board. So I think it's all going to come down to. I think that they're both pretty well balanced, but I think I'm going to give the edge uh, to the Padres. I think that with Tatis, Machado, those guys, I think they're pretty hungry, and they've been so close for the past few years, and they just haven't put it all together. But I think this is the year that they at least you know get past the initial round here.
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing both views, but yeah, I think both series are going to go 3 games. I don't think we're going to see a 2-0 sweep. Uh, I'd like to. I mean, as a baseball fan, you want to see the upset. So I mean, the Reds, but yeah, Dodgers bullpen and pitching staff is just too much. The bats. So I mean, unless somebody gets red hot for the Reds, and can shut down that lineup, I think Dodgers are going to take that series. And man, Cubs, Padres. I mean, you'd like to see the Padres do it because they haven't done it in forever. But again, it's the lovable Cubs. So I gotta go Cubs. And I think, like I said, I think it's going to be a 3-game on both sides of it. So yeah, so that kicks off what Tuesday? I think all 4 games, and then I think the next round starts on the 4th. So, but I mean the big talk right now in baseball, the fact I think the NL MVP is locked up. I think everybody is saying Otani. I mean, Greg, what do you think?
I think it's got to be Otani. I mean, he's been pitching some really great baseball as well. So he's locked in. I mean, a guy that's racking up strikeouts, pitching some big innings, and also getting over 50 home runs uh, in a season. I think that it's pretty much Otani's to lose.
Kevin, what you think on the NL side? Otani's a win
Um,
or a lose?
I if there's 2 people that can give Otani a run for his money for the NL, I mean, obviously the season's over, and it's going to be hard to prove anything now. But if anybody proved a case to that should be an MVP and they're most valuable to their teams, I have to go with these 2 people. I have to go Kyle Schwarber and Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber is, when you're talking about hitting all these home runs and doing all this for your team, I swear every day when I was getting fantasy baseball notifications, it was literally either Judge, Kyle Schwarber, or Cal Raleigh hitting a homer, and
Yep.
it was continuous. Um, Now when it comes to P. Crow Armstrong, He's the first Cub in a long time to have a 30-30 season. And then you have Michael Busch and Seiya Suzuki who've been hot as well. So, I mean, Pico Armstrong we got in a trade for Javier Baez with the Mets,
Yep.
and Baez went straight downhill after that. Now he did have a comeback season this year. He did pretty good this year. He didn't do great, but he did a lot better than he did since we traded him. But yeah, you have you get Pico Armstrong, and he ends up there's a time where him and Kyle Tucker were in the top 5 for NL MVP votings. But other than that, it is hard to bet against Ohtani, even though I want to see someone else, see someone else deserve, the title.
Yeah, it is tough. I think it is Ohtani's to lose, but I think what hurt Pete was the fact that, I mean, he was hot when the Cubs came to Minnesota. I think he had a couple bombs the game I went to. But I think he just got into a drought at the wrong time, and I maybe spent a little time on the IL, missed a few games, so I think that kind of hurt him. I think if he would have just stayed what he was doing, and it's hard to do. It's a long season. You're going to get hurt. You're going to miss some games. I get that, but yeah, I think it's Ohtani's to lose, but I definitely would like to see Pete win it. On the AL side, I think it's down to 2 people. I see it all over Facebook. I see it all over, social media page. Judge versus Cal. Some people are saying if you, don't think Judge ain't the MVP, you don't know baseball. If on Cal's side, you don't know baseball. So, Greg, Aaron Judge or Cal Raleigh, who do you have? And
Well, you can make an argument about all the intentional walks that Aaron Judge has had this year.
yep,
Cal Raleigh hasn't even sniffed close to that number of intentional walks, so that tells you right there that he's a very feared hitter in Judge. But I would say right now, I personally would give it, if I were to give the award out, I would give it to Cal Raleigh because playing catcher is probably the hardest position in all of baseball, and he's been doing it. He's been behind the plate probably 80% of the season. So he's been calling some great games. This is one of the Mariners' best seasons in their entire team history. And so to hit over 60 home runs, to be calling the game from behind the plate, to be an everyday catcher, I say that it's Cal Raleigh's. I mean, he's playing a more difficult position. He's hit more home runs. And not to take anything away from Judge because he does have a lot of intentional walks, but I think that Raleigh has had the tougher road because of the position that he plays.
yep, definitely got to agree with that. Kevin, what do you think, Cal or Aaron Judge, or
Yeah,
maybe someone dark horse?
I mean, like you said, you're seeing around, seeing across social media that if this guy you don't know ball or this guy you don't know ball, I'm, I think you couldn't go wrong either way. You can give it to either one of them, and I think you couldn't complain about it. It sucks that they have to go up against each other for that because they both deserve it.
Yeah, yeah, Kevin. We know a guy that's a Seattle fan, and he came on his during his break and said that if Cal Raleigh doesn't win, he's not watching baseball next year. So we'll see what that happens. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'd hate to be a voter on this one because you know you vote the Yankee, then you're a Yankee lover. If you vote Cal, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it should be Cal's. I mean, he's got better numbers, but yeah, the intentional walks. Aaron Judge is more feared. But man, just being a switch hitter, catching. I mean, look at the performance he did at the All Star break. I mean, great moment for him, his dad, his brother, who was catching his dad at the All Star break. Just to top it off for an MVP, I think would be great. I mean, of course, they're in the playoff hunt for the World Series. But yeah, I I give it to Cal, but it would not surprise me if Judge squeaks it by. But so that Cy Young side of things, I haven't heard any real big names. But Greg, who do you have possibly as a Cy Young for both the AL and NL?
Um, I really like Tarek Skubal for the American League. I think that
Okay.
he has outstanding stuff. So he's had really good. I mean, he's consistent, year in and year out. So I would say that Scooble would be pretty good. I think that Garrett Crochet, he has a ton of strikeouts, 255 strikeouts. Scooble has 241. Crochet is 18-5. Scooble's 13-6. Um, Max Fried is 19-5. So man, you have some really great pitchers. You have Carlos Rodon. Um, Gosh, honestly, as much as I like Scooble, I think I would go with Garrett Crochet.
Okay.
I think that he might be the guy this year, or Max Fried because he does have the most wins, but he's only one win over Garrett Crochet.
Yeah.
And then of course for the National League, I would give it to Freddie Peralta. He is just pitching lights out. 204 strikeouts, 17-6 wins versus losses, 2.70 ERA. The guy's just been pitching lights out the last half of the season. So I think that it's Freddie Peralta's um, to lose. And Sanchez was in the mix, but he had a terrible outing the other day against the Twins. So I think it's Peralta's.
All right, Kevin.
Yeah, there's a lot that I agree with what he just said. One thing I want to mention is if Paul Skeens was on any other team other than the goddamn Pirates, he'd be your MVP. He would literally be your Cy Young. This guy's
Yeah.
got a 1.97 ERA, but he's got 10 wins and 10 losses. I mean, that's just because the Pirates can't put up goddamn runs. But yeah, I mean, if I'd have to go, if I was a betting man, I'd go either like he said, I'd either go Max Fried or Tariq Skubal. But yeah, I mean, there's not really any competition here in the NL. I think you have to go Freddie Peralta. I mean, even though he's on the Brewers, and I hope the Cubs put 12 up on him, and when we make it to the round and we play the Brewers, because he'll be the starter, obviously. He'll be game one. And the Cubs, they actually hit him pretty well. So his weakness, I would say, is the Cubs. But yeah, I would have to say Freddie Peralta or Max Fried, and Tariq Skubal from the AL. But yeah, Freddie Peralta for the NL.
Yeah, I can't disagree with neither one of your guys' takes. Yeah, Skeens, it sucks because he's got the numbers. I mean, if he would have been like maybe 10-5, 10-6, 10-4, he's probably a lock for that win. But being 500, it's going to be hard for the voters to get him the Cy Young. I mean, he earned it, but I think you guys nailed it on the head there. So, but before we wrap it up, anybody got some topics they want to throw out there? Greg, nothing. Kevin, you got it?
No, not really.
Kevin, you got something you want to throw out?
I'm thinking here. Got distracted because I forgot this Green Bay game went to overtime.
Oh, it did. Okay, yeah.
37 apiece.
Wow. Talk about no defense.
Yeah, I mean the freaking Packers had 17 seconds. They walked down, got in field goal range. But oh man, all I know is we're gonna be in for a pretty good playoff picture here.
Yeah.
But I'm reading an article here that says Paul Skeens and Tariq Skubal will lead the 2025 Cy Young poll, but I can't see Paul Skeens winning it because his record is it's bad. But again, that is because the Pirates couldn't put up any runs, so he could give up one run and he's still losing that game because the Pirates
Yeah.
didn't give up a run.
Yeah, I think if Skeens wins it, it's because they kind of took his last year's stats and combined them with this year's stats. Because I mean, he didn't have enough qualifications last year, but he was just lights out last year.
Yeah.
So, but well, with that being said, guys, I mean, we're ramping up for the playoffs. Our first show back. Hopefully we have a good playoff run. Hopefully, have a good off season, which we'll talk about more in the next couple episodes. But Greg, any final thoughts here?
Well, the final thoughts is school is back. It's been a crazy first month of the school year, but it's good to see all the kids back and wanting to learn, and everybody be safe out there on the roads. Make sure that you're watching for buses. Lots of new bus drivers every year, so pay attention to the buses and the stop signs. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I think it's going to be a great postseason. So.
All right, Kevin, your first show of On Deck. Any final thoughts?
Hoping by next show my Cubs have moved on to the next round. That's what I'm hoping. But again, we're playing the Padres, and it's going to be a tough battle. They got some hitters, but if the players that we have can stay hot like they've been, we definitely have a chance. That would mean Pete Crow Armstrong, Seiya Suzuki, Michael Bush, Nico Horner's been solid the last 10, 12 games. Ian Happ, he's been clutching it up a little bit too. But yeah, if we're gonna win it, we're gonna need that pitching crew to also keep us in the games.
Yep. Nope. I'm ready for playoff baseball. The first month in playoff baseball are like my two exciting times of the year for baseball season. Too bad my Twins, decided not show up, but oh well. So with that being said, keep watching us. You'll see myself and Kevin tomorrow along with Crispy Bacon between the ropes as we tackle down some hard-hitting wrestling takes. You'll see myself, C2C Rankum Wednesday. You'll see myself, Kevin and Chris, along with Tim for Primetime Blitz on Wednesday, where Crispy, we laughed at him for his lock, but he hit it. But with that being said, we'll see y'all next week on Deck Playoff Edition. Have a good day.
Brandon, you gotta see this.